Hello and welcome to episode 591 of Fergo and LeagueFreak. I'm that bloke from Rugby League Project, Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRLP. And join me as always is the glorious LeagueFreak. You can also find on Twitter at LeagueFreak. How are you today, mate?
I'm fine.
You're
Can
not
we
upset?
just get on with it? I'm fine. Everything's fine.
You're not
Fuck
upset?
you. Fuck you. Fuck everyone. It's great. Everything's great.
It's all good?
Yeah. Everything's fine. Everything's just dandy.
No complaints?
Everything's fucking wonderful.
I got a text message from Matthew Elliott.
He knows how to use a phone?
Yeah, he's heard there's
Wow.
a vacancy going at Penrith way.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
That's fine?
It's fine.
So you're happy for him to come back as coach?
No.
Oh, well. Tell you what, your attitude reminds me very much of my own over the last 2 weeks of football.
Yeah. Oh, man. It was just really out of the blue, this news. Like,
I will say, I was looking on Twitter this morning, and there was some report early on saying, "Oh, the Panthers are going to have a press release today at 2 p.m. And from what I can tell so far, it's going to be all good news." And everyone's going, "Oh, looks like the Clearys are re-signing to be with Penrith."
Yeah.
And then probably about an hour later, all the leaks came out that Cleary's leaving and Cleary's stepping down.
Mm.
And then came the news article which says he wasn't actually leaving or stepping down. He was just going to end his contract.
Mm.
It's kind of a bit different.
Yeah.
It's not the bombshell that, he's just quitting. It's not that bombshell, but it is still pretty big news.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, what's he got in the pipeline?
Well, it's interesting because, like, when you put it into the context of everything that's happening at Penrith, and then, like, we're kind of conditioned to think that he would coach at Penrith for the next 20 years because that's what, say, Bellamy or Bennett did at one club. One of them at Melbourne, the other one at, like, the Broncos. But that's not normal, and then winning 4 premierships in a row isn't normal either. Like, Ivan Cleary could literally retire today, and his place in the coaching ranks of all time is it's already set, Yeah,
cemented.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if what we're seeing is what should be normal, and have we been spoiled by Bellamy and Bennett? I mean, isn't this what Jack Gibson did with Parramatta? Kind of was a little bit, wasn't it?
No, because he went to Cronulla afterwards.
Okay, but like he chose to leave a team that was like,
in good position.
I mean.
No, definitely he did do that.
Yeah, so like, is that normal? And I don't know. It shocked me. I found out with the email from the club, and I was like, what the hell's this? And because of every scenario of what might happen to Penrith over the next few years, I really did think that Ivan Cleary would have stayed around for at least another 5 or 6 years. But that won't be the case, and we'll see what happens. It's very interesting to think about, of all of the pressures we've seen on this Penrith run of success, what this will do in terms of being a pressure, because you can't argue with what Ivan Cleary's done and the impact that he's had. And we'll see how Peter Wallace goes. And you don't know how someone's going to be as a first-grade coach until they've coached.
This is very true. And look, I'll be honest, my initial thoughts was Ivan was going, because he's made it clear that he doesn't want to coach against Penrith either. So he's not going to go to another NRL club.
Mm.
My initial thoughts was he was going to go into like a coaching director's role so that he can be there to mentor Peter Wallace when he becomes a coach, and probably focus more on nurturing the junior pathways that he spent a lot of time working on in the last few years since Gould left. And, by having him in that sort of role, it reduces his workload. He's probably still on very similar coin, and it doesn't lessen the risk that Penrith loses Nathan either.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking I might be something along those lines where I was just gone, you know what, I'm done with the workload. I just want to step back, and I don't want to leave the club. I don't want to coach against them. He's made it clear he doesn't want to be a first grade full-time coach anymore. The other option is he probably wants to take on a role as a State of Origin coach or maybe the Australian Test coach.
Yeah, and he's been very clear about not doing that while he's the Panthers coach.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe some. I mean, like, if in 2027 he was made the New South Wales coach, I think everyone would be pretty happy about it. And if he was made the Australian Test coach for the next 10 years, I think everyone would be happy about it. So, we can walk into either of those roles, I think, depending on which one he would want. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It was interesting timing. I think it's cool that he left a lot of time that he told the club, well ahead of time, and it's let them get who they want in place. And, I dare say that we'll see that transition slowly being made, more and more over time before he leaves, so that Wallace doesn't just step in out of nowhere. I wouldn't be shocked if he had done some of the first grade coaching by the time he officially takes over. But yeah, and then, how does that affect what Nathan does? There's also, how does that affect what happens to Jet Cleary over in New Zealand, who's currently in the New Zealand lower grades, having come over there from Penrith lower grades. So there's a lot that could change in the next few years at Penrith, or a lot that we might look at in 2030 and say, man, they're all still there, really.
Smart move. Move.
We might be like, oh, friggin', Ivan's still like a coaching whatever director or part of the football team, and Peter Wallace is there, and his sons are both there in the halves. So who knows? I'm open to anything. We'll find out.
It would be funny. Mm-hmm. I would love it if he said, "All right, I am now going to become a coaching director, and I'm available for hire." And the first club that signs him is the Bulldogs.
Wouldn't that be funny? Imagine if they sacked Gould.
He just walks in. He says, puts his hand on Gus's shoulder.
Yeah.
Gus, mate, you're looking tired.
That would be the best. Oh, far out. Oh. Although I've got to say, if I was another team and Ivan was coming off contract, I would make him turn down a lot of money to not coach against the Panthers. Like, could you imagine if he went down to the Melbourne Storm? I would just offer him a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, it does make you wonder. You've got to find where a player or a coach is, where their weak point is, and sometimes it may not be money. Some people may just want to, I don't know, be a head coach over in Perth but live in Canberra their whole life.
Who would do that? I always go by the thing of like, make it an uncomfortable situation for them to go home to their better half and say, you know what, I just got offered the biggest contract in the game's history, but I'm going to turn it down, sweetheart, because I just don't feel like doing much at the moment. And then just let their better half do all the work from that point on.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's how it's done. That's how the pros do it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't just ring up his place one day and be like, oh, I was just ringing up to talk to Ivan about the $1.5 million contract that we offered him for 4 years. He probably talked to you about it. Anyway, I'll let you go, love. I'll let you go. Just let him know that I called for him. And
just let him know there's a bit of wiggle room upwards as well in that price.
Yeah. Just let him. Just wait. You just wait. You don't make the next phone call. You let them make the next phone call.
You've got my number now. You got it on. Yeah. That's cool. Call me whenever you want.
Oh, Nathan. Oh, sorry, Ivan. It's good to hear from you. Oh, you want to come in with your wife to talk about that contract? Oh, okay. Well, I guess I could free up some time.
I'll get some glasses and get some rosé wine in.
Yeah.
As you would. But yes, as I touched on, the other story that came out recently was apparently there's a bit of a rift within the ranks at the Perth Bears. Apparently Mal Meninga's not getting on too well with some other person there, and NRL's a bit concerned that Mal's not doing much PR work and he's still living in Canberra and not being in Perth. And I just think this is all a bit of a beat up.
Yeah, look at when you set up a club to not be completely Perth, when you spend the time to make sure everyone knows that it's the North Sydney Bears that will have a Perth team, and their North Sydney Bears 200 million members that they apparently had, and they're the room of 25 geriatrics on a Tuesday morning that, weren't able to jump up and down when they got the license because that would have put out their false hips and stuff like that. When you set it up like that from day one, don't be shocked when everyone's not committed to being in Perth.
I would like to see the Perth Bears go all in on the Bears thing in year one, and then in year two just go, yeah, we're going to have a retro year just to celebrate the Perth, the Western Reds. And they go, yeah, okay, no worries, that's cool. And then just stay there.
Just jettison it. Well, look, if the Dolphins can be right, why can't the Perth Bears be Perth? They don't just be Perth.
Yeah. Yes, I'm with that.
I don't mind a lot of their lineup that they've got together because, as I heard somebody say, I think it was Mal Meninga, all of the players that they've signed, their best years are ahead of them for the most part, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, he hasn't got an aging roster.
No, but at the same time, everyone needs to be living in Perth, man.
Yeah, and look, he also hasn't picked up too many elite level players either.
No,
and he's going to need that.
Although
PNG's going to go Jerome Lua. He needs to get someone at that level, at least one, just to get the ball rolling. Just one of them.
But just say, and they're not at the same point of their construction of their lineups. But are you happier to have a rounded squad at this point for the Bears, or are you happier to only have 2 star players signed up for the PNG team? What one would you rather? Because part of me thinks that it's better to have the rounded lineup in the Bears sense rather than shooting for the stars like the PNG side has, and they've only got 2 players at the moment.
No, Perth is definitely doing things, I think, in a much better manner. I think the problem, though, that you get, and this is based on our past experiences when we went from 16 teams to 20 in 1995, is you didn't automatically have extra players. You didn't automatically just get a bunch of another 20 extra superstars turn up.
Yeah.
You just got a bunch of 20 more depth players.
Yeah.
And what it did is it spread out the player talent a bit more, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But when you do that, though, you kind of do run a small risk. It's not a big one. Small risk of, the quality of the games just dropping a little bit.
Yeah.
So you don't need to have 5, test players or origin players in your side. You only need 1 or 2 to be really competitive.
Yeah.
And I think that's all they need to get is just 1 or 2 top-level players in there and try and fill your side with as many NRL quality players, which is what they've got so far, and as much genuinely good depth, and try and invest some in some local talent. There's a lot of good junior competition, stuff like that in Perth at the moment. And so there's going to be plenty of talent there they can work with. I'd like to have, I don't know if it's happening or not, I'd like to know if the Perth Bears have actually got someone over there at the moment working on developing those players and getting them ready for when the Perth Bears come along. If you're working with the 18-year-olds over there now, they're perfect to make their NRL debut when the Perth Bears, get up and running. So you've got a few years to develop those guys and get them up to NRL standard. That's kind of what I hope they do. PNG, I do worry that they've gone in too hard too early.
Yeah, I guess the thing with PNG that you could look to is that they've got basically they can bring in their test team for the most part, and they can have a lot of those elite players, and they won't be on huge amounts themselves, and that might subsidise, along with the tax breaks, any star players that they bring in. But we'll see. I mean, if I was going to build an NRL team around the PNG test team, the things I'd be looking for would be one very good creative half, which they've got that. And then the other thing is I would want some big front rowers because PNG, they've got good front rowers, but they're not big dudes. They just don't make huge dudes in PNG. They're kind of more a little bit shorter and built like brick shit houses. And I feel like that extra size up front would help them. And I guess the other thing I would want would be a good fullback, just because I think every good team needs a good fullback. And, that's where I would have gone after someone like Joey Manu to try and get him into that team. I think he'd have been a good addition coming back over from playing kick and clap in France. But we'll see. There was talk that they were going after Joseph Suwali, and that was talked down. I think they obviously talked to his management because the management and the club said, no way in the hell is that happening, which my guess is it definitely was, to been talked about at least. But my understanding is Suwali's been super injury prone in rugby union, like super, super injury prone. Like he doesn't play a great deal.
Yeah, I've heard nothing.
Yeah, and that's just.
Maybe Zach Lomax will be a chance.
I think Zach Lomax would find it weird to go to a place where his salary actually went up.
Yeah,
I think his next stop is to be a part-timer for like Dewsbury or something.
Water polo.
Yeah. He always wanted to be a water polo player.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what he always wanted to do. He'd make sure he goes there before he finishes this contract.
Yeah.
I only want $20 a week. Oh, boy. Well, what else has been going on?
Well, we've got some emails. We've got 3 emails this week.
Oh, that's right. I mean, we usually do these off the top, but you were so miserable we had to deal with your bloody grief first.
Yeah. Look, my team, they might be sitting at the top of the ladder, but woe is me. So our first email here is from Nui Ash, regular listener. And he says, the subject is set restarts. And he says, hey lads, the Rugby League eye test put out some numbers on set restarts worth unpacking. Mm-hmm. A normal set results in a try 8.9% of the time, worth about 5.2 expected points per set. Right?
Mm-hmm.
A set where a restart is called sees a try scored 22.5% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's 22% up from the normal one, which is 8.9.
Yep.
Pushing the expected points to 1.24 points per set on the restarts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Divide one by the other, and you get a 2.4 times advantage if there is a set restart. One referee call more than doubles the expected points value of a possession.
Mm-hmm.
This is good shit.
It is. Look, the Rugby League eye test is fucking incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I absolutely love the work they do, and everybody should be getting on there and sharing their stuff around and loving it because, my God, they are thorough and they are meticulous.
Okay, so back to the email.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what makes the number even harder to ignore. Pythagoras' NRL field position modelling shows that a set starting 11 metres from the try line produces a try roughly 20% of the time, or about 1 in every 5 sets.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now apply that to a traditional penalty. Both best case scenario, the attacking team kicks to touch, pins the defence back, and starts a fresh set 11 metres out. the defence has committed a worse infringement, conceded ground, but they get to reset their line and take a few breaths, which is one of the things that when you get a set restart, you don't get the breaths, whereas with the other normal penalty, you at least get, 20 seconds to catch your breath, reset your line, right?
Yes.
The try rate still sits below 22.5. The rate produced by a set restart called anywhere on the field. For an offence as minor as a slow play the ball, including the vast number of deliberate first tackle set restarts given away. And yet, referees blow 6 agains almost without thinking, like it's a tap on the wrist. So the question for you both, should the NRL be reframing how referees are coached to think about set restarts, not as a minor administrative reset, but as one of the most consequential calls they can make in a game today? Cheers, Nui Ash.
The set restarts thing has become a minefield of a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember when they first came in, they were basically a replacement for penalties. And it went nuts. And so they went, no, we've got to start bringing penalties back in to try and even it out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now what needs to happen is if you give away, pick an arbitrary number, 2 or 3 set restarts in a row, and I mean in quick succession, not like 7 minutes apart, like within a set of each other, right? And you keep giving them away. There needs to be a point where the referee says, okay, once we get to 2 or 3 in a row in quick succession, they either blow a penalty or they send someone to the sin bin. Because the point of penalties and set restarts isn't about splitting possession or stuff like that. It's about punishing things that you do wrong. And if teams have found a way to turn something that's meant to be a punishment into something that's an advantage, then it's not serving its purpose. And that's what they had with the penalties.
Mm-hmm.
People were giving away penalties and they go back, take a breath, and you just found that teams were getting to the point where the ones being penalised the most were the ones winning the most games. Yeah. You're going, they're picking their times and using it to their advantage. So maybe we need to go with a harsher punishment, and that is if you give away 2 or 3 set restarts in a row in quick succession, or set restarts and penalties combined in succession, then send someone to the sin bin. It changes the way teams look at it then, because they're not going to try and use it as an opportunity to, do certain things a certain way or anything like that. It then becomes something that could end up leaving you completely outnumbered. I still think, though, that we're using set restarts too frequently.
Yeah.
And it is just a stopgap, sloppy measure to avoid having 2 referees on the field, which I still think would be a much better situation than what we currently have.
Yeah, I agree. And the other thing is that you also have to remember that referees are graded on their own performances by their employer, which is the National Rugby League.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that grading is how many set restarts and penalties they give, the speed of the play the ball, the scoreline difference, or things like that. Which
minutes of what is it? Time in ball in play time or whatever
time
it
in
is.
Play, yeah. And they put out some stats recently where they said, look, everyone's saying that the game is quicker this year and stuff, but the time in play is actually down. Leaving out the fact that the time in play is actually down because so many tries get scored that some of the time in play teams are just standing under their try line waiting for the other team to kick a conversion.
Or waiting for the bunker to approve a try.
Yes. So the thing that I note, and I watch this super closely, and I watch I think I've missed 1 game, maybe 2 games this year in the whole of every game that's been played. I watch this very closely because I watch games where I'll see a set restart given and I'm like, I don't know what that was for. And it'll say ruck infringement. And I'll be like, I was watching the ruck. It was a very quick play of the ball. I don't understand where the ruck infringement was. And I see patterns. So the patterns I see, that referees, they like to give that. First of all, they like to get a team out of trouble in their own half if they're being pressured by a defence. So if you say the ball is turned over on a team's try line, and say they're playing, let's say Panthers playing the West Tigers, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Tigers turn the ball over on the last tackle on they were going for a try. It's 1 metre out. The Panthers have to ruck it out now from the try line. And the Tigers are putting pressure on. Referees are desperate to give away a penalty in that situation. Okay? So that's one thing. That's a penalty. If you're between the 20-metre line and the halfway line, referees will call 6 again like it's nothing, right? Because there is perceived to be not as big of a effect on the game because they're still, 60 plus meters away from the try line on average, right? And then the other area that you see 6 again's given like their confetti is when a team is defending their own try line and the ball will go across field and they'll say that the winger was inside the 10 or something like that. And so it'll be an inside the 10. And all of a sudden, a team has been given, 3 sets of 6 to attack their opposition's try line. And if you can't score on 3 6 agains, you've failed as an attacking team. Everyone should score, I don't care who you're playing against. Give the Titans 3 6 agains against the Panthers' defence. The Titans should score. And that's a pattern I see happen a lot. Are those 3 things happening? And I just think that I don't like what I'm seeing. I think that that's too much influence for a referee to have on the result. I like to see the teams sort the game out. Sometimes you're going to have a game where the balls are slow. Let the team sort it out. Sometimes you have a game where, we've seen games where the game starts and teams are going at it and they're trying to sort it out. And you think, oh, this is a great game of footy. And then about 7 minutes in, the referee starts blowing 6 agains and all this stuff. And the teams have to stop playing like they were. And the whole game has changed. And it's not because the team's changed it. It's because the referee did. And I hate seeing that. All of this is stuff that I watch and I'm disgusted by, quite honestly. And I think that referees should just call games on their merits, not try and hit markers for their KPIs, which they have to get these days. That's what their employer wants them to get.
That's the important part about what you're saying there, is that this is not just ref bashing. This is a decision that the NRL has made, and they've put these parameters around the referees to behave this way. It's not helping, and it's not promoting good football. What it's promoting is lopsided possession stats. Now, I made this point a while ago, and people were saying to me, oh, but the games are still like 52, 48%. That's not what I meant. What I mean is in 10-minute blocks. How often have you seen in games, in 10, 20-minute blocks, they go, oh, this team's had 80% possession. Mm-hmm. That's not even possession, right? That's rugby union. Mm. And we're not sitting here shitting on that, but there's a reason why league had limited tackles. It was to try and get away from a team being able to hog the ball and just maintain possession, because it didn't make it a contest anymore. If you're watching a boxing fight and one bloke's not allowed to throw punches, you're not watching much of a contest, are you?
No.
And that's what we've got at the moment with this. And it's just like, okay, you get the ball for 20 minutes. And then say, oh, you didn't do anything or you didn't do much of it. Now it's your turn. You get 20 minutes to go down there and just hammer away. It's ruined the actual proper flow of the game. We've now got this artificial momentum in games. Mm-hmm. And you see, Fox Sports have got that momentum tracker. It's a fantastic example of what's happened to the game, because you used to have ebbs and flows every 10 minutes. And you look at those momentum trackers now, it's like 20, 30-minute blocks, just one team, and then it goes to the other side. And it's like a little wave graph, and that's it. It doesn't have spikes here and there all over the place. They're long moments. And that's That's not good. That is inherently bad.
No.
And we are seeing it all over the game at the moment.
And like in my lifetime, I've never seen anything like we've got now, where you can have the ball for like 90% of the time over a 15-minute period. Like normally when you're doing that, you're winning by like 70 points.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like that at the moment. It's really weird to see. And I've never seen a disruption like this before outside of when we had unlimited interchange. It feels like a disruption along those lines.
It is huge. Remember, I've spoken many times before about the magic score, which is 19.
Yeah.
If you score 19 or more, doesn't matter what score you get from 19 and above, you are always going to be at least 50% chance of winning the game.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many teams at the moment are conceding less than 19 points a game?
Oh, I'm just at a guess. I'll say 3.
2.
Yeah, there you go.
Penrith and the Warriors. And the Warriors are at 18.89.
Mm.
Do you know how many are scoring at more than 19 points a game? Sorry, aren't scoring at more than 19 points a game.
I would say same thing. 15 teams are.
It's 3 teams are not, so 14 teams are. So yeah, it's the Bulldogs 17.4, the Titans are 18.89, and the Dragons 13.78.
Mm-hmm.
19 is not the magic score anymore.
No,
and like this alone is pushing it up towards something stupid like 23 points. Like it's almost impossible to get to a safe score because nothing is safe anymore. The average points per game, total points scored in a game, is at 54.5.
That's crazy.
That's stupid. I can't explain just how aggressively mind-numbing that is. It's just the average scoreline. 33-16, 34-16. That's just ridiculous. And somehow this is what, entertaining? Who? All I'm seeing everywhere from rugby league fans is how annoyed they are about how this is the impact this has had on the game. And a lot of fans aren't quite sure what it is that's frustrating about it because, they might not be watching it with the same analytical detail that a lot of, many of us do.
Mm.
But even casual fans looking and going, this doesn't look and feel like the game we used to watch, like just 3-4 years ago. It looks and feels different. It doesn't feel right. If I could find a way to describe it, the one thing I personally feel watching the game is the team who tends to come out of the blocks at the very start of the match with greater intensity, especially in defence, and they're running hard, they're coming off their line hard in defence, they're running straight, and they're just doing everything. They're taking the game to the opposition. That team tends to win the match. And if you see that at the very start of a game, they're going to win. And 9 times out of the 10, they do. And you just go, that's just nuts. But it feels like the way the game is designed, the way it's running is, the referee sees that and goes, they're the team that's more hungry today and help them along a little bit. And they score points really fast, really early. And scoreboard pressure now is so much more intensely harder on teams. And a good example was watching the Sharks last week. And they're a team that always struggle with scoreboard pressure. But what they did last week when they were behind the scoreboard was what every other team is also doing when they're behind the scoreboard in the second half, not even close to the end of the game, 50 minutes into the match. And that is they are just running literally sideways.
Yeah.
Trying to find a gap. And there's just nothing. And that's all they're doing is running sideways. And the opposition gets the ball and they just run straight, bang, 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 and it just miles upfield. And just shows you that if your game and your intensity is not in the right angle and you're not running straight the whole time, you're not going to win the game. And it's just crazy that you can pick up on things like that very early on and just get that gut feeling of, this team's going to win or that one's going to lose. And I mean, we saw it like when you watched Penrith play the Bulldogs a few weeks back.
Mm-hmm.
Bulldogs come out and they took the game to Penrith.
Mm-hmm.
Penrith lost. All those teams that beat Melbourne in that run, you watch every single one of them, they come out of the blocks and they just come out and they just ran hard at Melbourne the whole way through in attack and defence. They all won. And who was the team that didn't come out and run hard at them? The Tigers.
And what did they do to the Tigers?
Got fucking flogged.
Yeah.
And the Tigers also didn't do it against Cronulla the week before, and Cronulla come off a loss. Cronulla put 50 on them and going, it shows you, man. It's crazy how mad it is. And when you see that every team has performed that way, like come out and been, with intensity and won, and then they've had a game where they haven't come out with that intensity and lost. And who's the only team that hasn't come out and played with great intent so far in any game? Dragons.
Yeah.
Haven't won a game.
Oh, they beat the Titans, didn't they? I think they beat the Titans.
No.
I thought they beat the Titans.
No.
Oh,
no,
man.
No. They're winless, man.
I must be thinking about a different team. Who was it? Who was the team that beat the Titans? And it was like, was it Manly? It was one of those teams that was like, man, they're not going to win.
Nearly. The Titans have only won 2 games.
No, they beat the Titans.
Who did?
Anyway, it's a game that stuck in my head for some reason, and the Titans got beaten, and it was a team that I was thinking, they might not win very many times this year, and they beat the Titans. I was like, oh.
Was it Parramatta? Oh, no, Titans won that one. Let's say Cronulla beat Titans 50-10, Dolphins beat Titans 18-14, the Cowboys beat them 30-16, Brisbane beat them 26-12, Warriors beat them 28-20, Canberra beat them 28-12, and the Roosters beat them 28-12.
Might have been the Cowboys.
Ah, yeah. Well,
because remember they started off terribly.
Yes, and their defense is still dog shit.
Yeah. I think it was them.
Very good email, and I'd also like to say, Nui Ash, you're actually investing your time learning about rugby league and the nuances about how the game's played and all that analytic stuff from all the right sources.
Yes.
Keep doing that.
Next email. It's Glenn.
Uh-oh.
Glenn's back.
Hang on. Let me take off my analytical hat. While you're looking at that, I'll just do a quick Google search for whatever the Paul Gallen news is at the moment.
Subject, Panthers and the real reason for the podcast. He says, G'day, Fergo and the Freak. In your opinion, is it concerning that all these Panthers are talking about going to market? I realise that they can't keep everyone, but it seems like a pandemic. I just did the Panthers' last 2 games, and he says Newcastle and Manly. What a difference in their playing style. I don't necessarily believe Manly played that much better than Newcastle did the previous week. It's just that the ball didn't go around like it did against Manly. I think the Panthers blew at least 6 tries. With the Panthers all coming off contract, a lot of players' contracts are coming up at around about the same time as the broadcasting deal is going to come out, and I think that that's coincided with, everyone sets their contract ideally to be around that time,
especially if you've won a bunch of premierships.
Yeah,
you're going to go, you know what? I'm just going to hold off as long as possible. It's not because I want to leave, because I want to see if I can get a genuine pay rise here, and if that means I've got to leave to get that big payday, then so be it. But
yeah.
I think a lot of the Panthers players who are doing that sort of stuff at the moment, they're doing it not because they think they can get $100,000 more somewhere else. It's probably because they think they can get about $300,000 or $400,000 somewhere else, and that's a fair old whack.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why you see all of their star players, they're coming off contract at the same time because of that. So I think it's more aligned to that, but what we are seeing also added to that in terms of pressure is that we've got 2 clubs that are being added via expansion that need players. And of course, everyone's going to talk about, well, who are they going to end up with? And I think it's all lining up at about the same time, which is kind of weird. And you can say, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. It depends. In terms of Nathan Cleary coming off contract, if I'm the Panthers, I'm like, this is great because we might have an extra $6 to $8 million to spend on our lineup, and if we do, well, guess who's going to get a big fucking chunk of that?
Yeah.
And good luck leaving if we offer you a giant contract, to stay at the club that you've become a legend at this point. So, and the other thing is, if you're at the top, the whole point of the salary cap is talent equalization as much as anything. And as we've seen, players leave the Panthers, and man, how many times have we kind of thought, well, Crichton's gone, oh man, and then Case McLean comes along, and you're like, holy shit, this kid's 20 years old. Like, what the fuck? Success isn't going to last forever. The Panthers will eventually not be a good team, but I'm hoping that the next time around when they do have to do their rebuild, however that looks, because they've got the junior side of it going strong, that it won't be too long before we're saying, like, where the fuck are Penrith getting these players from again? It's ridiculous. So we'll see. Look, it's all part of the journey is the end, as Iron Man said. So you don't even know what I'm fucking talking about, do you, Andrew? You didn't see Endgame.
I have no idea what you're talking about, laundry.
Fucking hell, this fucking guy. He watches Die Hard 1 and 2 every fucking year, and then every other movie reference I make, he doesn't even know what I'm talking about.
Well, who's Ironing Man?
Oh, fuck.
Is he superpower doing laundry?
Oh, Jesus.
No, or maybe he's a golfer.
Oh, fuck.
He just only used the blades off the tee. No,
Jesus.
I don't know.
Holy fuck, what am I supposed to do with this guy?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know what's going on.
Anyway, I guess what I'm saying is
Iron Man. Like, what? I mean,
I
don't get it. Like, he wouldn't get a Woody. He'd get a cast irony. That doesn't kind of work, does it?
Fuck.
See, I don't know, man. This seems like an inconvenience more than anything else.
Doesn't even know who Pepper Potts is.
He'd be wandering around and just have fridge magnets constantly flying at him. That feels like an absolute hazard.
They don't pay me enough to be here. Anyway, I guess what I'm saying about the Panthers is I'm fine with it all ending, and I'm not going to cry.
No.
Anyway, he says, this is Glenn's email, going back to it before I had my breakdown about the Panthers being broken up. He says, finally, F1 returned. The racing was an improvement. I don't mind the Miami track. I just find it cringeworthy, the section of the track with the boats in the infield. And if anybody doesn't know what he's talking about, they've got an infield and they've painted like blue that's supposed to look like water, and then they've got fake boats in the fake water.
It's so fucking shithouse.
Cringy, yeah. He said, good to see Oscar get multiple podiums. Sad note for the weekend is losing Alex Zanardi. Yeah, what a champion, what a life of glory and crap. Yeah. Cheers, Glenn. And he says, P.S. Performance-enhancing drugs are wrong, and I cannot believe that. I can't read the rest of that. Glenn. Losing Alex Zanardi was very sad. I used to watch Alex Zanardi when he went out, because I used to watch Indy cars. They were called Champ cars at the time, and I remember when Alex Zanardi came over, and he was just on it straight away in the Champ cars and was amazing. And I actually thought he would go back to Formula One and do really well, but it's just one of those things where it didn't work out for him. And then he went back to Champ cars and he lost his legs in that fucking horrifying crash, which is just like, if you see the pictures of it, it's just, man, it's terrible. Apparently, a couple of years ago, he was hit by, I believe, a truck or something while he was training. And he hasn't been well since then, and he passed away last weekend, I think it was, or the weekend before. So that was very sad to hear that.
Yeah, especially when as someone who's been through more than fucking enough.
Yeah.
Like, just let them have something and then give them the rest of their life, for fuck's sake. No.
Yeah. It's very sad. That I thought the race in Miami, the F1 race, was better which was good to see. I don't like the track. I don't think there's enough overtaken situations there. But
it's not a great track. The thing I hate most about it is all the shit that they do before the race at Miami. Oh my God, it's just bad. There was talk too that they are looking at changing the cars next year to be less electric.
They've I think they might have approved that, and then in 2030, I think it is, they're talking about going to just V8s again and almost being naturally aspirated, just no batteries at all, which should be interesting. But I don't have a problem with the V6s. I just don't like the imbalance where you this push to pass fucking what's it called, mushroom race and Mario Kart shit.
Yeah, I think what they had for the hybrid era, so everything prior to this year, you could stomach it. It was fine. Like the drivers still had full control as to when they used DRS and that sort of stuff. And I think that was acceptable and fine. And a lot of teams have started to catch up and get with it. And this year, they took too much away from the drivers. And it was just such garbage to watch.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with whether your favorite driver was doing this or that or whatever else. Just, watching battles. They're not really battles. Like, someone overtakes someone and then they run out of battery and they just get past quite easily further on down the track. And then the same happens again. We're not actually watching a proper race here.
No, it's not real.
Yeah, so it's good to know that they've finally decided to do something about it and start working back. Because I think at the moment the cars are... Is it 50-50 between electric and petrol, or is it higher to the electric?
Look, it's complicated.
But they're talking about it being 60-40 next year towards petrol.
At the moment, it's 50-50, but they can play around with how much power for the battery you can harvest and where, how much you can deploy and where, and how it's deployed and where. So it's really fucking complicated. It's really fucking complicated.
The thing that'll happen though with reducing the amount of battery that's on the cars and is available is it'll make the cars both lighter and smaller, which that will help improve overtaking better than anything else.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Glenn.
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. Okay, now we've got another one from Sam. Sam sent us an email in the last episode where he wasn't happy with our thoughts on the difference between Super League and the NRL and stuff. So
is Sam from England?
Yeah, Sam is from England. So his subject is the Australian media. And he says, hello.
They're all fucked.
He just says they're fucked. That's the whole... No. He says, hello, you read out my email. Thanks. We'll read out anyone's email that sends in an email, even if you don't agree with this especially. Like, we'll read it out. And Absolutely. It's not like we're going to, get on and bag the shit out of you or anything. Like, we like letting people have their say.
Yeah.
Especially when they agree with us, if you know what's good for you.
Right.
He says, hello, you read out my email. Thanks. Anyway, I watch more NRL than Super League. I get up early and there's back-to-back games all morning. I'm not sure the gap is cavernous between the two leagues at the top anyway, but it feels cavernous. How the games are presented is a huge factor, but I have one huge issue with the Aussie coverage. Several issues. Okay.
Okay.
James, I must talk for 20 minutes and say nothing of value. Graham, where does James Graham?
Is he on SEN now?
I don't know.
See, I'm going to agree with Sam. I don't watch any of the chat shows. I don't listen to any of the podcasts. I don't watch any of the TV shows about NRL anymore because if you ever go back and listen to some of the first 200 episodes we did, those shows just made you so fucking frustrated, and it had nothing to do with rugby league. It was frustrated with these are the people reporting the game, and this is what they see. How are they so fucking blind and stupid?
Yeah, and
it got to the point where they weren't even talking about stuff that actually mattered or actually happened in games. They're bitching and moaning about all other garbage instead, and we just wanted to hear and see people talking about what happens in football games.
Yeah, I want to also say I don't listen to any rugby league podcasts, and I've said and that's just because when I'm not watching the game or I'm podcasting with Andrew or I'm yapping about it on Twitter, I get away and do other things. You know, I'm normally looking at high-end collectibles. Shut your face.
Sorry.
Shut your stupid face. I can't believe they forced me to work with you like this under threat. Fucking bastard. I'm
don't you
either
dare
watching...
put that gun down, fella.
Shit. Oh, shit. Oh, by the way, did you see I put my Ahsoka figure up last week when you said it was a sausage fest?
No.
I put the only female figure I've got, Ahsoka Tano, up. I put that up and you didn't even fucking message about it on Instagram.
Oh, I'll go have a look now while you read this out.
Yeah. So I don't listen to any podcasts, rugby league podcasts, and I don't watch any of the shows, but I do watch the pre-game on Fox Sports leading into footy, and like sometimes I'll argue with that too, because it's like you fucking got to wonder what the fuck they're talking about. Like on the weekend, I think it was Michael Ennis was saying that one team was going to up for an ambush of the other, and then he picked the other team to win. And it's like, what's going on here, Michael Ennis? What are we doing here? You know?
I'm surprised he still has a job after, the Dragons and stuff.
It's interesting. You know who I really like that other people don't like?
Mm.
Kevin Walters. Kevin Walters can do no wrong in my book.
See,
none.
He's been getting better, okay, but I get frustrated that someone who's actually been a coach and reasonably good one, his best additions to the commentary is laughing and shouting, but not actually providing any of the insight that I want to hear from a coach. Like, what's the stuff that you say to your team in the dressing sheds when they're down 40-0 and you want them to keep trying to play, win the game and keep putting in? I want to know what those conversations are. What is it that you're looking at in the coach's box that gives you the shits that everyone else goes, oh, that was all right? What are the things? These are things I want to know. And he's just like, get in there, boy, just do this. But you sound like a moron. Give me that coaching insight. That's what I want to hear. And we don't get it from him. And that's what frustrates me a bit about him.
So I just I love him. I think he's great. I also like Blocker too. I know people don't like Blocker. I enjoy Blocker. I just take them for what they are.
Anyway, Blocker I'm 50-50 on.
Okay.
So there are times in a game, especially when he's the more senior of the colour guy, right? Mm-hmm. He will break down plays very well and explain exactly what was going on in the play. And it shows you just how smart he was as a front row. A lot of people thought he was just a hot-headed doofus who ran around just bashing people. Mm. He was a fucking smart front rower. And you get to see it in those moments like that. It's just the time he does the rhyming, slang, goofy stuff. You go, man, that commentary, it died in the 1980s for a reason. No one knows who Vera Lynn is anymore, okay? Just say chin.
Yeah.
That's it's just, it's not a personality thing. It's a silly thing. He doesn't need to go that far.
I love it when it doesn't matter what the score is, how they're performing, or what's happening in the match. The New Zealand Warriors are starting to look tired from about 5 minutes into the game. I love it. I fucking love it. It's so good. It's so good. It's great. Anyway, back to the email. Let's go back here. So it says, James, I must talk for 20 minutes and say nothing of value, Graham. Gordon Tallis, David Boys Riccio. I wonder what the boys thing is. Brent, I love Galvin Reed. Prick Richie. Prick Richie. Danny, would you like me to cup your balls, Gus Weidler? That's great. And so on and so forth.
Oh, what? Okay, keep going, man. You need to come through with a longer list. You can go. These are good.
I want to hear what he would call me and you. Hey. That would be good. Send us in an email. Tell us what you'd call me and Andrew.
Oh, Jesus. That's not good news.
I know, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm glad we only have Brian Carney and John Wilkin. John Wilkin's a fucking punish, so God.
He's pretty rough.
I know. It's all quiet on the NRL/Super League deal over here. Dead in the water, ? Thanks for that one. Sam, thank you for getting back in touch too. So that's great. I heard that...
I was going to say, when it comes to the NRL media, if you've got criticism, don't come to us if you want us to argue with you.
Yeah. It's like, I disagree with what you're going to say. I think the Aussie media is shit. And we'll be like, oh, please, let me take my pants off and read this one. Look, I've heard that there's going to be some more talks this weekend at Magic Round because you get all of the big wigs from the NRL and stuff in the same place in regards to the NRL and Super League. It's also a junket chance for people to come over from England. So we'll see if anything comes out of that. But I get a feeling that it's all a little bit stagnant at the moment. And I think that we'll see them have some talks. If they put a proposal to Super League and the Rugby Football League in that, I don't think it's going to be well received. And I then think we could see a pivot for the NRL to do something different. So, but we'll see. I'm not a mind reader.
You're not?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
No. I've been accused of it before. But that's paranoid schizophrenic people for you.
All these years I thought you were.
Nah. So that's all of the emails we've had this week. 3 good emails, hey?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Very much sparked a lot of good conversation.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to find it now. I did have some stats I was doing during the week.
Okay.
I'm trying to find out where they are. So I was looking at a unique type of stat.
Yes.
Where I called it points turnaround. So what I did is I looked at games where a team had 2 games in a row. If there was a bye, then it didn't forget about the bye. It still had 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
One of the games had to be a win. The other had to be a loss. And what I did is I added the points that the team scored when they won to the points that they conceded in their loss. And if that combined total was 80 points or more, I put them in a list. Mm-hmm. So basically looking at teams who got flogged and then flogged someone.
Yeah, big win, big loss.
Yeah, so it's kind of looking at, I dare say, in my mind, this is kind of a representation of the rules not being good for rugby league.
Yeah,
because typically in the past, if you got belted one week, you weren't belting someone the week after.
No.
And this data really did show that as well, because from 1908 to 1982, there was only 27 times that this happened with a total of 80 points or more. Mm-hmm. So there was 9 occasions in 1983, which is the first year of the 4-point tries.
Yep.
Then 13 combined from 1984 to 1992 under the 5-metre rule. Mm-hmm. 10 times in 93-94, the first 2 years of the 10-metre rule. Mm-hmm. 17 in 95-96, which is the 2 seasons where we had 20 teams.
Yep.
10 times that happened in 1997 across the 2 comps.
Yep.
And then once the game got unified and they started meddling with the rules every year, mm-hmm. you start seeing how it got crazy after that.
Yeah.
So in 1998, 13. The year after, 7. Then 19, 23, 13, 27. Remember, in the first 73 years of the game, there was 27 instances of this happening. Mm-hmm. And we were getting 19 and 20 happening every year, mm-hmm. From 2000. So all the way through to 2005. Then it started to settle down after that. And it was like between 3 and 10 every year. 2007, there was 20 occasions. And that was the year the Titans came into the comp.
Yeah.
2020 was at 7 as well. And then in 2021, when we're post-COVID and we start, was that the year we started with the set restarts?
It was the Panthers' first premiership year. So yeah, that was the one, wasn't it, where they beat South? Because that's you and they said that was the worst season we'd seen since unlimited interchange.
And so that year there was 24 occasions, which was the second highest after 2004, where there was 27. There was 9 occasions of 22. Then in the last 4 years, it's been 18, 22, 20, and we've had 11 already after 10 rounds this year. So it's on track to go over 20 again.
It's interesting that you can tie a lot of those in with events in terms of expansion and things like that.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, with a lot of these things, especially when it comes to lopsided competitions or, big scores being racked up and that sort of stuff, there's three main things that causes it. The first one is rule changes. Second one is new teams being introduced. And this is going to sound funny, the third one, but it is such a common one that comes up all the time. It can't be ignored, and that is Dave Brown being God tier in 1935.
Yeah.
Because every time you go through these things and there's these crazy data in it, there's always something from 1935 and he's just belted someone the living crap out of him and go, it's Dave Brown.
Yeah.
And it happened through all of this again. And I just thought it was absolutely amazing that we now get to that point where the amount of points being scored in games and the inconsistency of nearly every team involved is going bananas again. And I want to know how they think that this is somehow good for the game of football, or it makes it more entertaining when you can lose by 50 one week and score 50 the week after. And, apparently that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like this type of football. I think if you took Penrith out of this season, it would even make it more dramatic because the Panthers are pretty, they're pretty consistent. I just don't get it. I can't, and I think most fans don't like it. I remember during the Super League war, especially when you would have games every so often that'd be like big scoreline with both teams. And it was always just thought of as trash. It was like, oh my God, that game's trash, And now it's a regular occurrence this season. And, there's some games I've watched where it felt like you were watching basketball or something, whereas one side scores, the other side scores, one side scores. And I don't like it.
No,
I really don't like it, and the problem is that they'll point to the TV ratings, which are going up still, the crowds, which are still fantastic, and they'll say, well, it's all going in the right direction. And, but I think that you've got to look at what you want the game to be and the health of the game. And I also worry about like injuries with players getting like soft tissue injuries. I think, and I haven't looked up any stats regarding it, but it feels like there's a lot more soft tissue injuries this season. And
I think we're also starting to get a lot more bone-related injuries than we've had before too.
Well, I mean, I guess because players are getting tired, and when you start getting tired, you start making mistakes. And it all just, every bad decision compounds another decision. And, when you start tinkering with the rules, they've got to think out a little bit more about how it's going to affect the game. And, I just don't think they do that very often.
No, they don't. So another stat I looked at was on Sunday, the Dragons became the 13th team in the game's history since 1908 Australia to concede at least 300 points after their opening 9 games of a season.
Wow.
There's some elite teams in this list.
Okay.
1920 University. 1935 Canterbury. They've actually got the record still, 365 points in 9 games.
Yep.
1935 as well, University. 1937 University. They conceded 309 points in 8 games. So each team only played 8 games that year. 1996, the Cowboys, 350, the second highest. 1999, West, 326. 2001, Penrith. 2002, Cowboys. 2005, Knights. 2006, South. 2024, South. So that was an interesting thing. From 2006, or from 2007 to 2023, no one did it.
I'm surprised that the Knights didn't do it when they were really bad during that time.
They went close.
And also, I guess, the Bulldogs too.
Yes. 2024 South, 2026 Parramatta, and the Dragons as well. So 2026 is the first time since 1935 that two teams achieved that very much unwanted feat.
Pretty crazy.
That's nuts. It's 3 of the 13 occasions it's happened has been in the last 3 years.
I know that they've had a couple of good performances recently, the Eels, but I mean they were flirting with being one of the worst defensive teams of all time if they'd kept it up.
They were atrocious early on.
Yeah. So, and I look at the Dragons at the moment, and I mean they're so bad. Like they're one of the worst teams we've had in quite some time. Probably going back to when we had the Bulldogs when they bottomed out completely, and the Knights when they bottomed out completely too. That this Dragons team is right with those teams.
Well, I'd like to draw your attention to a quote by current coach Dean Young, because he'd like to have a disagreement with you about that one.
Oh my God, what's he said?
He said in the press conference after their game last weekend where they lost, "We're improving."
No, they're not though. They're really not. What the fuck is he talking about?
We're improving.
They're not.
He said, "We're improving." Let's just have a look at what they've done since he became coach.
Yeah, they've only had 2 games, to be fair.
They've only had 2 games. They lost to the Roosters 62-16.
Yeah, look, and he only had them for 4 days leading up to that.
Yeah,
to be fair.
And then they lost to the Knights 44-10. So I guess he's probably right. They did concede 18 points less.
It's not a time to say we're improving, though.
Especially when you're about to play against the top team of the competition.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about that during the week on Twitter, in that, we've had games in the regular, and I'm just sticking to the regular season, where we've had the media hype up like this is the biggest upset ever. Like, remember with the baby Broncos, for instance, that's always brought up and stuff. And I
want to say about that, right? I hear the baby Bronco ones all the time. People forget that they were only playing the West Tigers.
Yeah. And that you look at the players in that team, there's a lot of fucking good players in that Broncos team, But games like that are brought up. There was one last year where the Roosters beat the Panthers and they were like, this is the biggest upset. And it's like, no, it's terrible upset. But, really bad loss for the Panthers, but not the biggest upsets ever.
No, and the Roosters, I mean, say what you want about them. They're not a bottom 5 team. So it's not like some team at 12th beating the top team in the comp.
Yeah, and they made the finals.
Yeah.
If this Dragons team beat the Panthers this week in Magic Rounds, last game of Magic Round, it would be the biggest upset regular season game I have seen in my lifetime, and legitimately, it would be the only time I'd be like, oh, that game was a disgrace. Like, that would be one of those, marks on my soul game as a Panthers fan. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Sunday.
I've got a feeling the Dragons are going to concede about 900 points.
Penrith is really weird. They don't go on and put 60 on a lot of teams.
I know they don't, but it's the Dragons' defense is so dire. It's hard not to score lots of points against them. Like, you do it by accident. I was just tying up my shoe. How did I get 2 tries?
I think that if the Panthers get a good start and they're just in a mood for whatever reason, they should score at least 50. They just at least. Yeah. And after that, sometimes it can come down to a little bit of luck or just a little bit of possession to the other team to stop you scoring 60, 70. But we'll see. We'll find out.
We will. Do you want to know how? This is more of a conversation between me and the listeners more than anything else. You want to know how bad I am at footy tipping? Because we didn't record an episode last week, I didn't put my tips in.
No, didn't you?
No, because doing the podcast is my reminder to do it, and I do it while we're doing the podcast. And I went, oh, yeah, we're going to do a preview of the upcoming round. I didn't do my tips last week. And it was the best round I've had so far.
Oh, man.
So I'm at my best when I'm not involved.
I only got 50% last week. I was pretty filthy about it.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 right.
There's a couple of teams that I keep putting a little bit of faith in that I shouldn't.
Parramatta?
Fuck no. What are you talking about? No, there's... the Sharks is one. The Sharks...
They've become very inconsistent.
Yeah, they've become soft. They've become soft. You can break the Sharks pretty easily these days if you just keep it together. If you can keep it together for 25 minutes in a match, you can beat the Sharks. They're one team. I thought the West Tigers are another. I thought that they would beat the Storm, and the Storm thrashed them. They're two teams, really, that stand out as two teams that I keep putting my faith in, and they don't reward me. Can I tell you, I put a bet on a team to win a premiership, and I bet you, if I gave you 3 chances to guess, you would never guess who.
Melbourne?
Nope.
Newcastle?
Nope.
Canberra?
Nope.
I'm trying to pick teams you don't like.
No. Here's my reasoning.
Okay.
I tweeted out, I think it was last week, that this season could see a really weird premiership winner, because I wouldn't be surprised if we got to the finals and a team could just end up being the one that was healthy. A lot of injuries that we're seeing, some weird suspensions, and all of a sudden we turn around and it's like, oh my God, how did they win the title?
Mm-hmm.
Thought about the teams that could be in that position, who could get that job done. I put money on the Dolphins.
The Dolphins?
Yes. And I'm not real big on the Dolphins. I don't think they're a great team. But in a season that is all about scoring, their attack is very, very good. And I just think I could see a scenario where they make the finals and they're just the team that ends up having the players that are healthy at the time. So I'll put money on them because their price was pretty good. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm not saying they're favourites. It would take a miracle for them to win it, but it's called betting. It's not called, winning.
This is very true.
Yeah.
Should we have a look at the games coming up this weekend?
Let's do that, Andrew.
All right. I do have some stats. The stats will sound a bit samey this week because it's all about, how many points teams have scored, because that's pretty crazy at the moment.
Yeah.
The Sharks versus the Bulldogs first up. Sharks have won 13 of the last 17 games against the Dogs, going back to 2015. The Dogs have conceded 214 points in their last 7 games, which is 30.6 points per game. This is a game where there's two teams whose defense has turned to slop.
Yeah.
The difference between them is the Sharks' defense is sloppy less frequently, and their attack is more potent more frequently. Not by much, but it is by enough on both counts. I'm inclined to go with the Sharks.
Yeah, same here, and it's putting your bet on putting your tip on the Bulldogs. You can't do it at the moment. Their attack is dreadful.
It's bad, real bad. Yeah. If the Sharks don't pull their finger out and get that one done, they're going to be close to waving their season goodbye, I think.
Yeah. I can't believe Cameron Sorbaldo's still there.
Yeah. Well, he did say during the week, what was his stupid quote during the week? He's bitching and moaning about something. As they do. What was it? Where was it? I saw it here. Oh, yeah. We're just an easy target. Cameron Ciraldo is frustrated at his side of not getting the rub of the green from the referees. And that was something I saw from the Fox League on Twitter. And I said, if you need favouritism from referees to win games, then you are doing coaching completely wrong.
Yeah. I just think with everything we've talked about with them and the Phil Gould factor, and I just am shocked that he's still there. But we'll see, the problem that Phil Gould has is that because he has to be right, how does he say, well, this I brought in Trent Barrett because he was an ex-super coach, and then I sacked him because I had Cameron Ciraldo because he's a super coach. How does he say that he's wrong about Cameron Ciraldo now and bring in the next guy who he's going to be right about, obviously? And it's not a good situation.
Do you know who the Bulldogs attack coach is?
Yeah, it's the former Knights coach. What's his Adam O'Brien?
The bloke got the worst attack last year by a long way.
And as soon as
it shows, doesn't it?
Adam O'Brien leaves, and the Knights all of a sudden can fucking play really good footy. It says a lot.
Oh my God, that is so dire.
Justin Holbrook has the Knights playing pretty damn good.
Yeah. Can't deny that.
Yeah.
Next up, Rabbitohs versus Dolphins. South have won 9 of their last 13 NRL games and racked up 382 points in that period. 4 of the 5 games played between these two sides have seen at least 50 points scored in the game. I think this will be another high-scoring one because both these teams are scoring points pretty easily at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who to pick.
Yeah, me either. I mean, I feel like every time I go like, the Souths, every time I do that, they just shit the bed. And every time I give up on Souths, they whack someone good.
And this
so I don't know.
They're now up to 4th, which means I now expect them to lose.
Yeah, I think I would probably tip the Dolphins.
Well, I mean, you have to. You put money on to win the premiership,
Yeah, well, they've just got to make the top 8.
That's true. Oh, man. Tigers versus Seagulls.
Oh,
the Tigers have conceded 127. Well, Tigers conceded 127 points in their first 7 games and 96 in their last 2. Merely conceded 82 points in their last 6 games and have yet to concede more than 18 points a game under Kieran Foran.
You kind of have to go the Seagulls, don't you?
You'd be absolutely nuts to pick the Tigers.
It's weird.
Yeah, the Tigers are... The problem they've got, man, is that for all this talk at the start of the year, people were talking about how they had good depth and all these young juniors, and all they did was lost Coruscant, and they just fell apart defensively.
Mm-hmm.
They've made some changes this week, so they should be more competitive, but I don't know if they're going to be competitive enough to beat that Manly side because, my God, they're playing good footy.
Yeah, the other thing last week that was really bad is that Madden played really bad, atrociously bad, and that was terrible for the Tigers because it kept them on the back foot a lot of the time when they needed to be on the front foot. I kind of have to go for Manly, which is really weird. By the way, I know you and me didn't rate Anthony Seibold, but my God, how bad must he be as a coach?
It's amazing to see how right we were.
Yeah. It's like even I'm looking at it saying, all right, rugby league gods, calm down.
Okay, you made your point, okay?
Yeah.
We know we're good, all right? Just calm down. Next up, Roosters versus Cowboys. The Roosters have scored 233 points in their last 6 games, which is 38.8 points per game. And they've won 12 of their last 18 games against the Cowboys.
Oh, man.
And Tom Dearden is out. So I'm going for the Roosters in this one.
You got to go for the Roosters. The Cowboys, I feel like the run they were on was a flash in the pan. I wouldn't be shocked if they started going on a losing streak at some point this year.
Their defence hasn't been superb either, even though they were winning plenty of games.
Yeah.
They're still leaking plenty of points.
Yeah.
So, that's a bit of a worry. Bottom of the table clash next. Parramatta versus Melbourne. Melbourne have won their last 7 games against Parramatta with an average score of 38-12.
Wow.
And Parramatta have conceded 345 points in the last 10 games this year.
You got to go Melbourne.
I'm going Melbourne. I think they're going to win this by plenty.
Yeah, I think this could be a real flogging.
They got the shackles off last week.
Isn't it weird that remember the first game of the year and I tweeted out Melbourne look vulnerable and then Melbourne beat the fucking Eels by 60.
Yes.
And people were like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. And then the Melbourne Storm went on this losing streak. And I was like, see, that's what I was talking about there. They looked vulnerable against even the fucking Eels.
You're back saying to the guys, just settle down, all right? You've made your point.
Yeah. It's, but they did look a lot better last week. But we'll see. We'll see if they can keep it going.
Next up, Titans versus Knights. The Titans have won 8 of their last 10 games against the Knights that were played in Queensland. And they have conceded 28 points in each of their last 3 games. I will say this about the Titans, and that is their defence is performing way above what people expect of them. They've only got flogged once, and that was the first game of the year, and they have been genuinely really strong defensively since then against much better opposition.
Yeah, and Josh Hannay, he has a worse team than they had last year, but he has them putting the effort in. And you can see that, like, there's a gulf there in talent against most of the other teams they play, but because they put that effort in, they make up for a little bit of that. And you know what? Part of being a fucking coach is, can I get these guys to respond and put the effort in when sometimes it doesn't seem like we're going to get anything out of the other side of it? So he's doing a great job. Absolutely. And there's certain things that he's putting in place and stuff. The halfback they brought in, and I can't remember the young dude's name, but they brought him in the last game at the Gold Coast Titans, and he did every single thing you would want from a young halfback. He was, have you got his name?
Oh, Zane Harrison. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, Zane Harrison.
He looked like he was just so calm, composed, and in control, like a veteran.
3 minutes in, he was pointing players around, telling them where he wanted them.
Yeah,
like not one single shred of hesitation. He was doing. He was taking on the line and putting on some really nice passes. His kicking game was faultless. For a debut, it was like I was so impressed with him. He was so good.
Yeah,
and I just hope it continues.
He was remarkable. There's no doubt about it. One other thing I think that's also been remarkable is how well and how quickly Hugo Savala has made the transition to centre.
Yeah.
He's impressed over there.
Yeah, it's been a shock.
But yeah, Titans. I'm going to back him just for a bit of a roughie.
I got to go with the Knights.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
I figure I've got to pick one roughie every week. So using that logic, I usually try and pick about 8 roughies every week.
You did well last week.
Yeah, last week was good because I didn't pick any of them. Logic took over. Warriors versus Broncos. The Warriors have won 3 of their last 5 games at Suncorp, but none of those were against the Broncos. And Brisbane have won 5 of their last 7 games when playing as the away team at Suncorp Stadium.
I've got to go Broncos. I think that they're having a normal premiership defense. This is normal, what we're seeing. I think that they have tread water a little bit while they've got through injuries and stuff like that. I think they will pull it back together, and it's going to start eventually. I think it'll start in this game.
Yeah, they get a few key players coming back for this one as well.
Yeah.
Last game, match of the round. Penrith versus the Dragons. Penrith have won 8 of their last 9 games against the Dragons. And first place sides have won 14 of 16 games against teams placed 17th or lower on the ladder.
I'm going Dragons. No. It's just going to be...
Oh, you got to pick your margin on this one.
Yeah, I can't remember what I put in.
You can't put 100 in.
Yeah, 100. Can you imagine?
98
I put mine in the 20s. Somebody said to me during the week that you can get Penrith at 28.5 plus points, and it was $1 $1.85, and I thought that was actually a really good bet.
They're currently at $1.04 to win this one.
And that seems like long odds.
And I'll tell you what,
me.
the Dragons are only at $11. That should be about $911.
Yeah.
Right. Save those tips. What was your margin for that game?
I can't remember exactly, but it was like in the 20. It might have been. I put 24 or something in the margins, something like that.
I put 98.
Okay. we'll see who gets closer, right? Like you're not out of it if it's a close thing, you know.
That's all right.
That's funny.
All right, well, that's the tipping done for this week.
What did you think about Luke Metcalf going to the Warriors and saying, I don't like that I might be playing behind Tanner Boyd and I want to play halfback, not 5/8. Will you let me go and negotiate with other teams? And the Warriors said, yep.
I don't mind it because if I'm the Warriors, I look at him and go, you know what? You have been like absolutely phenomenal. You have also missed a ton of games through injury.
Yes.
So go for it, mate. Knowing that they've got a suitable replacement who's doing just as admirably as well there, go for it, mate. We've got no problem. They've got nothing to lose, the Warriors. And if he decides that he can't find a better offer and he wants to stay at the Warriors go, perfect.
Yeah, I agree completely. And like I've said before, that sometimes when it comes to your halves, if you get somebody in that for whatever reason it's working, don't change it. And for whatever reason, Tanner Boyd, it's working.
Yeah.
He'll be on not a huge amount of money, so it'll be very cost effective. And Luke Metcalf isn't the sort of player that I'm messing it up with. If it was a Nathan Cleary coming back or someone like that, Tanner Boyd goes back to reserve grade, but not Luke Metcalf. I think that Luke Metcalf, he had a good run. It was less than a season.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm the Warriors, I'm hoping that he ends up finding somewhere else to go. Get him off my books.
So what do you think about the other half signing news, and that is the Dragons could be about to land the signature of Brodie Croft?
What?
Stop laughing.
Are you fucking serious?
Brodie Croft is looking at a few options to come back into the NRL, and the key ones at the moment are the Dragons and the Perth Bears.
I feel like. Do you reckon that that's actual, or do you reckon that that's just him his manager trying to sound it out?
Could be the manager trying to sound it out, but at the same time, it's basically only one current team looking for a halfback.
Oh man, yeah, I
feels like a bad decision.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
I think. Look, I will say this: Brodie Croft has been an absolute revelation over there in Super League, and he's playing his ass off, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah,
that's his level.
Yes,
and he is great over there. And my advice to Brodie is, you might be able to make more money over here, but you're going to look like $1 million over there every fucking week, and just stay over there and take the cash, fella.
Yeah, I agree. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine that he's going to end up in an NRL team.
Well, I mean, if he's going to end up in one.
Well, it'd be the Dragons. The Dragons are so poorly run.
Oh, man.
So poorly run.
If you've got a water boy and he's performing poorly, the Dragons are probably starting to be the halfback.
Yeah, man. It's Brodie Croft. You know what? Some of these expansion clubs and stuff, they're going to start looking at Super League players, and I think they'll start looking at rugby union players. I think I saw a thing where the PNG team was trying to wrap up a couple of young rugby union players from the Australian Rugby Union. I don't know anything about them. I don't follow rugby union whatsoever, but they were looking in that direction anyway, because talent's going to start getting thin.
I don't know why they'd have to, though, because they've got a whole country of bloody rugby league players who love playing the game that they can draw upon.
The only thing I can think is if you're, a rugby league junior and you want to get back into the NRL, and you're like, look, this is a chance, especially if there's two brothers, and it's like, this is a team with a clean slate. They've got the money. If we're going to get back into it, now's the time to do it. Let's do it through this team together. That's the only thing I can think of.
Very true, very true.
The one I'm surprised that they don't look at is New Zealand rugby union players, because a lot of them are getting pilfered by European rugby union teams, and there's a lot of concern in New Zealand rugby union at the moment that I keep picking up on every so often, and I'm surprised that maybe any NRL clubs haven't looked at some of their players, but there's got to be a reason for it.
Oh, absolutely. No one's looking at it though.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Over in England, Wigan beat St Helens and Hull KR beat Warrington in the Challenge Cup semi-finals, so they're off to the final. Who's going to win that, Hull KR or Wigan?
Hull KR,
Sweet.
yeah.
That's only in 2.5 weeks' time. May 30th is the final.
That's you know what? I actually don't mind that timing.
I think that is brilliant.
Yeah, that's good.
Absolutely brilliant. The English rugby league finally done something right.
Yeah, that's shocking. Hey,
well done, England. We can work with this.
Weeks too. What the fuck?
We can
What's
work
going
with this.
on?
This is good. This is useful.
Yeah. Will you watch that game?
I will try to.
I might watch that game too.
I usually try and watch the Challenge Cup final. I've missed the last two because I had work and stuff either side of it, but I'm going to try and watch that one.
From memory, the only Super League or Super League clash that I've seen that I've really watched and just flat out enjoyed was between Wigan and Hull KR. So hopefully they do that again. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Quick recap. I'm keen now to just do a quick recap on what's going on in the Championship, the second tier comp in England.
Okay.
Not the whole thing. Just checking out London's record at the moment because it's just off the charts bonkers.
Oh, really?
So they haven't lost a game yet. They've won all 11.
Mm-hmm.
And their average score this year is 56-8.
Wow.
They scored 619 points in 11 games and conceded 96.
Wow. Fucking hell.
At the bottom of the table is Halifax on -4 points and North Wales on -6.
Fucking English rugby league, man.
Halifax were deducted 12 points for going into liquidation and North Wales were deducted 12 points for going through an insolvency event.
Look, it happens, all right?
And the best thing you can do when your club is getting through that sort of financial mire is to make it even harder for them to be competitive and strong and make it even harder for them to compete financially by taking competition points off them.
Yeah, but they'll get relegated, right? And
no, there's no relegation from here because they got rid of League One, the third division.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah.
So this is just 20 teams competing in a combined second division, and it's a mess.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, does it? Like,
it's a big sloppy mess.
It's all right. The NRL's going to come in and just hand them bucket loads of money and say, you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah. And we promise we won't take all your riches.
Yeah, your vast riches. We won't plunder your vast riches.
There'll be no pillaging from our behalf. You have our word, gentlemen. You have our word. Oh my God.
That's funny. It's funny because that's what they say.
Oh my God.
They don't just want to become a feeder system. It's like, hello.
Now, there was one more thing I was going to bring up, and that is, did you see the, we'll call it a confrontation between Paul Gallen and some other bloke that's on some Channel 9 panel show?
Yes, his name's James Bracey.
Oh, right.
I did see the clip of it, yes.
Yeah, and it was basically just stupidity. Yeah,
it was a dumb yelling at a guy that is, because I believe James Bracey is on the board of the Bears for some fucking reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. Because he's in the media.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gallen was making I won't say point, okay. He was making an argument that the Bears are not doing anywhere near enough PR work, and they're not making enough signings or something like that, even though that they can't parade around players who have signed for them because they're still contracted to other clubs.
Yes, and they have many times more players that they've signed than the PNG Chiefs.
Correct.
But that wasn't able to be put through to Paul Gallen for some reason.
Yeah, that was too difficult to understand.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a bit daft, the whole thing.
Yes.
I don't know what that was all about. It just seems stupid. But, that's what they do these days to get a bit of interest. Now, one other thing that I've noticed recently and I'm concerned about is we've stopped hearing about Gordon Tallis crying about the fact his name isn't on a door anymore. Is Gordon okay? I just want people to just check in with him and make sure he's still grieving and he's still having a pissy little whine about it. I think it's important because we need to know he's okay.
I think he's still on the 360 show because I think I saw somebody saying that, like, what is Gordon Tallis doing on NRL 360 still?
Well, and a lot of it is because he doesn't know how to stand.
He just sits in the chair and they turn all the lights off and he's still sitting there. And if they come back next week, he's still there.
It's like, oh, you got in early, Gordy? Huh? No one told him to get up and go home. So he's just been sitting there the whole time. He's probably getting hungry too. Someone give him a biscuit or something.
Yeah, poor guy.
Poor guy. Would never make fun of someone that intellectually bereft.
That's rough, but fair.
Godspeed, Tallis. I loved you as a player, but man, I can't stomach you as a non-player.
At some point, you got to look in the mirror and say, "Look, I'm in my mid-50s. I should stop carrying on like a fucking chick."
This shit just ain't working.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell, man?
Oh man, it's just
I was a big tough footballer when I was young, but now I just carry on like I'm fucking one of the chicks in The Bold and the Beautiful or something. Like, what the fuck?
The drama, my God, the drama.
Yeah. Oh. Can you imagine? Like, it's weird when you see an old dude that loves drama.
Yeah, it's just something feels, especially someone who was regarded as in quotation marks, hard man.
Yeah.
Acting so soft.
So soft.
Jeez, man, come on.
That's really fucking weird.
Yeah, the Broncos only gave you a few $1 million. I think you should remember that and realize that your name on a door is not that important.
The other thing is, like, the way that the carry on when things that he's not involved with, and it's not just him. There's other people that do this in sport too. Like, you're not involved in something, you're not with the club or anything, but you get the shits when they do something that you don't want them to do, or they don't give one of your guys a job or something. And it's like, I get being, disappointed. I get feeling that it's the wrong decision. But when you just carry on with it, it's like, what are you doing, man?
Well, it's also the fact that because he was replaced by, like, Ali Brigginshaw, we can confidently say possibly one of the most elite female players we've had in the mod game. So, she deserves to have her name there. Yeah. No question whatsoever. But when you come across and you're complaining about the fact that, basically you're making the complaint that a woman is now considered better than me. That's basically what his argument is. Not that he'll say that. He's more complaining about the fact that he's not being, on the door anymore. But that's how some people will perceive it. And so you just go, man, you've got to pick your battles, and that's a bad one to pick. Like, if his name had been replaced by John Plath, everyone will sort of go, that's pretty nonsense. Like, John Plath, yeah, club legend. He played there for a long time. He didn't exactly play rep footy. So, yeah, Tallis is obviously better. He should have that recognition. But when you're comparing it to, a genuine, absolute women's legend of the game in recent times, you are, it's...
And you just can't keep shitting on the club. Like, he shat on that club for 20 years and then been like, Well, it took my name off the door. It's like, man, how long did you think that they were going to let you shit on them and then just have zero response to it? It's like there's cause and effect, dude.
Yeah.
It's weird when you see, people or teams and stuff that was successful and it turns into a bitterness. And the worst one for it's the Chicago Bulls. Like the Chicago Bulls of the 90s, all of them seem fucking miserable about being in the Chicago Bulls, to the point where I mean, Scottie Pippen just hates everyone that was involved with his career in the Chicago Bulls, and Michael Jordan really doesn't have anything to do with the team. And you're like, man, if the highlight of your professional career was to win in this arena and then you want nothing to do with it, like something went wrong. I know you won, but there's something wrong here. And it got to a point where there was a couple of years ago, the general manager that put all of that together, because they did the Last Dance documentary, which was just Michael Jordan put that together, right? And he made it seem like the general manager of the Bulls was a fuckwit. And of course, that general manager of the Bulls put together a team that won 6 championships, and even when Michael Jordan left, they were making the playoffs, And anyway, they had a ceremony to reward everyone, and that general manager just passed away, and his wife turned up, and they fucking booed his elderly wife, and she was bawling her eyes out because the crowd was booing the wife because of the perception that this guy had fucked over the Bulls. And it's like, man, none of this is nice. None of this is good. And to have this winning, like, can you imagine if in 20 years from now, all the Panthers players just were all miserable about their time? Like, it'd be really weird.
It would be.
Fucking strange.
I never got to that. I couldn't get through that documentary series. I was just looking, going, this seems like the most tried on attempt to add drama to something that would have been a pretty happy place to be at the time. Like, I don't get all of this. It feels manufactured or something.
There was a lot of revisionist history about it, and as there has been about Michael Jordan's career, and a lot of just skip over the times where he was flat out beaten by someone,
Yes.
Or when shitting on the Pistons, and it's like the Pistons won 2 titles and were fucking the Bulls up, and then they got old,
Yeah.
And then when he come back from baseball in 95, and it's like, well, that doesn't really count. It's like, why not? He was playing fucking basketball for a number of months, and they made the fucking, what was it, the semifinals, the Eastern Conference semifinals, and got beaten by the Magic. But that doesn't count for some reason. Like, what the fuck? There was a lot of reviews, and I can say it because I watched it. I was fucking watching it, So not so much the early 90s stuff, but I was watching fucking games from the mid 90s. So, Man. That's why when I see people say stuff on Twitter sometimes about basketball, and it's like when they'll list the top point guards of all time, and you don't see John Stockton there, and it's like, are you fucking people crazy? That guy was a goddamn monster, Or just some of the weird things you'll see, like
he was a monster that also looked like your dad.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of players that played during his time that are like, they went out. There's a really good one where there was a player that played for, it might have been the Supersonics. I can't remember his name, but he was their backup point guard for the Supersonics. And Gary Payton said to him, listen, you're playing against John Stockton. He's Mr. Stockton to you, right? And this guy's like, whatever, fucking John Stockton. And so he says, I go up and I start picking him up 94 feet, whole court. And he's guarding him whole court. And he says, Stockton got the ball and pegged it. And he thought he was throwing it to a guy behind him. And there was no one behind him. And he looked back and he realized John Stockton was pegging the ball at his face. John Stockton's like, back the fuck up. And then he realized, oh, this guy's a fucking animal. I love those stories when you hear about those stories. They're so good.
That's brilliant.
I like the ones when it's the dudes that you don't normally like. There's one about Rasheed Wallace is talking about some of his welcome to the league moments, and he's talking about a guy called Joe Klein, who was just I think of him as a scrub from when he played. He was not very good, but he was a big dude. And he said Joe Klein was just this giant, fucking strong guy that threw him around, and just like he was like, oh my god, these guys are so strong. And I like the ones that they talk about, like the guys that had dad strength, and you didn't know it. So you'd come in and you'd be a young dude, and you're like, I'm super athletic and stuff. And then you come up against this big old forward that just is moving you around for fun, like you're not even there. I love that shit. I love all those stories.
They're always the best.
Yeah.
I like the dad strength ones because it's a legit thing, and you can't see it because it's not like you expect the people to push around to the ones to be really ripped and bulky and massive. You get these people come on, they've got no definition. You're going, how the fuck is he doing that?
Yeah, well, like during this week, there was a big controversy with Draymond Green saying he made a joke about the thing he doesn't want to have at the end of his career is to look like Charles Barkley when he was on the Rockets, right? Now, I watched Charles Barkley on the Rockets, and that guy was like Charles Barkley was just other level. Like his dude that's 6'5" and was leading the league in rebounding, and was so strong. He was backing teams down. And they actually brought in a rule that you couldn't back down you couldn't back the ball down for more than, I think it was 5 seconds, because he was just backing guys down, the whole internet just were putting up numbers showing that like Charles Barkley's worst season was so much better than Draymond's best season and stuff like that. And so I find it weird when I see things that are said about basketball players from the late 90s and early noughties that, just get dismissed. And it's like, that guy would rip it up right now. He would destroy everyone. Like fucking a 36-year-old Charles Barkley, if you dropped him in the league right now, would be fucked to play against.
Oh, God, yeah.
So fucked.
I don't know. Something weird has happened to the NBA. I can't watch the NBA so much anymore.
Yeah, I find it very hard to watch at the moment. There's too many ticky-tack fouls. You can't defend. You'll get called for a foul if you try and defend anyone, and I don't like the style of game. I really don't. But I like the style of game that some people wouldn't, which is very much a centre-oriented sort of game that I grew up watching, where it was like, my favourite player is Hakeem Olajuwon. So it was like the whole offense sort of revolved around him, and you had shooters around him. Whereas now it's there's not many very good centers in the league.
Yeah. That's how it is.
Yeah. Just things change. But I don't like how they play it at the moment. I think I like tough basketball, and it's not tough at the moment.
Maybe they could all have sticks.
Well, it comes back to what would be the number one rule you could add to make it interesting. Release a live bear.
I'm big on sticks. How about a live bear with sticks?
Yeah, like in basketball. Not basketball. What's the movie? What's the movie where Will Ferrell's in it? Tropic? No, it's not Tropic Thunder. The Tropics are the team. What's it called, Andrew? You know the one. Oh, it's not Old School.
Actually,
look up the movie.
I do know the one that you're talking about.
What the fuck is it called?
Semi-pro.
Semi-pro. That's it. Where they have he's supposed to go in and wrestle with the bear, and the bear gets out, and then they say, "Turn the lights on," and he's like, "Precious." Nobody move.
Yeah, that was a hell of a movie, that one.
It was so good. I love that movie.
Oh, well. Was there anything else we need to discuss in this episode, you reckon?
No, I think we did it justice.
We've done a good bit of service here to the rugby league community.
Yep.
I will say, people, please keep sending the emails. We love those. They're great.
Yeah, they're really good.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll put a bow on it, send it to bed.
Yeah, hope everyone enjoys Magic Round, and I hope that we can get through another week without someone fucking deciding to leave Penrith. That'd be great.
That'd be great. Well, I mean, Nathan Cleary's next, isn't he?
I'd be shocked if he stayed at this point.
How much do you think he would take to go to the West Tigers? Like, I'm guessing like $500K a year. He'd be keen to go there.
Probably.
Yeah.
Take unders.
Take massive unders.
I know which way the bus goes.
It's like just down the road. I've been there.
You know what I love when I talk about paying Nathan Cleary close to $3 million? People freak out. They're like, there'll be no one else left. It's like, yes, there will. The salary cap's going up. Well, no player's worth that. Yes, he is. He's the best halfback in the game. There's only one of him. So, man, I'm sick. You know what? I'm sick of people, Andrew.
They are problematic.
I'm going to play with my dolls and just forget it.
That seems fair. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any, but yeah. I might play with my son's Lego.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Well, on that absolutely fascinating finale, let's go with that word. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure you check us out on all the socials.